Hey everybody, time for another paddle review. This time a little something different. A beautiful two-piece wooden paddle from Anders over at Kajakkspesialisten in Norway. So I met Anders a couple months ago at the Delmarva Paddlers Retreat in Delaware. He was running a skin-on-frame kayak build clinic and I was there to teach. We hit it off and we got talking about paddles and decided that get one made from him. I'm really happy with it. Looks great, feels great, and I'm really excited to get this in the water. Now first off, this paddle is just gorgeous. Look at these blades. Now I've always said for touring, I tend to like a wooden paddle. It gives a bit more flex, a bit more comfort. Often the looms are a little bit better fit for my hands. And that's a great thing with wood is that they can be customized. So Anders made this paddle to my specification. It's quite long, it's about 230 centimeters, and the loom's a bit wider to fit my hands really nice, and it just feels really good in the hands. Yeah, great feel, good volume and good width in the blade early on, make a really nice powerful paddle. So thin still, like, it's very rare to find a wooden paddle this thin that's as stiff as this one is. So the wood that we have here, we have spruce in the middle, and then alder extending out into the blades, and then oak reinforcements on the blade edges for strength and toughness. Now something that comes with wood is because it does not have the same sort of strength as carbon fiber, you cannot get usually as sharp of edges, but Anders has been really amazing with his technique of how he can get these blades so sharp for wood. I think the trick is probably this oak. This reinforced oak edge holds that blade edge together and allows it to be super thin and sharp, but still very strong. Now the differences between a wood paddle and a carbon paddle, besides being able to have it custom made to fit you, which is very, very important, is the flex. So even this paddle with its lamination, it still will have some flex to it. I can feel it flex in my hands as I hold it. It's still quite stiff for a wooden paddle, that's due to the lamination, but that little bit of springiness over the length of the blade goes a long way in comfort as you're touring for many hours at a time. And that's what I intend to use this paddle for. So it is a two-piece, pops apart, nice little ferrule, feels super solid, snaps together nice and tight, soft shoulder, and then immediately goes into these nice sharp edges that run the whole length. Now this paddle just at first glance is ticking all of the boxes of the things I like in a good paddle. First off, thin edges and a thin blade out at the end, so this will make a very snappy catch, good propulsion, very good edge control, good for sculling, quick changes. But at the same time, it also maintains kind of a diamond shape in here. You can see where this volume is. And so that diamond shape, in my experience, tends to make the paddle catch nice and heavy in the water. Gives it good bite, allows the water to flow consistently. Makes usually for a very planted, powerful feeling paddle, which is what I like. Blades are nice and wide, but still quite comfortable. And that's a customizable thing as well, this blade width. I can't get over how important having a paddle that fits you is. Some people like to have a little bit narrower loom, some people like a little wider, some people like a longer blade, some people like shorter. It's all up to you, and I recommend try as many different paddles as you can for the kayak you're going to be using, because a variation of a few centimeters over the length or a bit of width variation in the blades goes a long way to making you comfortable. One thing I really love about wooden paddles in general is the grip. Some carbon paddles, especially if you're wearing gloves, can feel a little slippery in the hands, and wood just gives you really good texture, really good grip on the paddle. Not going to worry about losing it. Yeah, this hand shape is just really good. So Anders started making these paddles in 2000, and over a number of years and having a lot of test paddlers in Norway, he's refined this shape to what we have now. Kind of a natural evolution, which is kind of how Greenland paddles came about anyway. Something else cool that Anders does is he'll mark the paddle with whatever you want, so I had to put my channel name here. Please remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Another thing that Kajakkspesialisten strives for is environmental sustainability. So they build skin-on frames out of local wood, they build paddles out of local wood, And besides the ferrule, if this paddle were left outside for long enough, if it were abandoned, it would return to the earth. Whereas carbon paddle, fiberglass paddle, it might be there 1,000 years before it actually breaks down, and then it's not being decomposed, it's just breaking down into smaller pieces. And with an environmental crisis going on and microplastics in the water, I can see where he's coming from. Alright, I think I've been talking enough about this. Let's hit the water and give this thing a proper test. So I'm testing some Norwegian paddles, so I guess it's only fitting that I have equally Norwegian weather. Kind of raining a bit, and it's cold. The weather's a bit awful today, but I do really enjoy paddling in the rain when the weather's not perfect. For one, there's no one else here. And two, I always like the challenge of it. Makes you have to think, have a plan, have a backup plan for when the first plan fails. So along with the Norwegian wood Greenland paddle today, I'm also testing for the first time the Norwegian wood Aleut paddle, the Aleutian style paddle. This one I'm really excited about. I've only ever used an Aleutian paddle briefly, not for very long or for very much distance, so this will be cool to test out. But full review and talk about Aleutian paddles will be in another video. Keep your eye out. Main goal today is to put the Greenland paddle through its paces. Okay, I think that's everything. Gloves, my last piece. Otherwise, I'm gonna put this camera away and go off and have a little adventure. Tally ho. Okay, well, here we go. First couple strokes. See how it feels. Ooh, I like it already. I like it already. Yeah, this feels really good. Pretty nice. Blades are really slicey, feels good. Catch heavily in the water. But I've been paddling carbon paddles so much this summer with all the teaching I've been doing that it feels kind of weird to have a flex again on the paddle. I can feel it on that recovery as that paddle slices out of the water. Got that little bit of a spring to it. Feels really nice. Tons of lift on the skull, very nice. Feels great. That combination of the wood with that little bit of flexibility, but those sharp edges, winning combo. It's really, really pleasant to paddle with. One thing I haven't talked about, differences between wooden and carbon paddles, is the weight. And carbon paddles tend to be incredibly lightweight. That being said, wooden paddles, this one for example, they aren't heavy. They're not as light, But when you get down to a certain point, the weight of a paddle isn't really very critical, in my opinion at least. The trade-off is that this paddle's a bit heavier, but it's also a bit flexible. And I would go for that flex and that suppleness for that comfort over the stiffness and lightness of another paddle. So you have this very reactive blade in the water. It feels really good. At the same time as that comfortable touring length and fit. Oh, I love wooden paddles. I've missed them. I am really impressed with this paddle. It's really nice. It blends that line of stiff, supple, comfortable, but slicey, powerful. It just kind of ticks all of the boxes you want. And the fit is excellent. I noticed, because this paddle's longer than a lot of the paddles I've been using this summer, my stroke has changed already. I've got a lower angle, longer stroke. It just feels a lot more natural with this paddle. Like I've been saying, paddle fit to the person is so important. Norwegian wood paddles, awesome, really nice. Just to kind of wrap it up, I've said it a couple times now, but the combination of the wood having the right fit for my body, for my kayak, but at the same time with it being supple and comfortable, you also have these really thin edges and the sharp blade, and it just makes the paddle really dynamic in the water. Really nice to use. Yeah, this is a great paddle. I really like getting back to wood. Now, I think it's time to warm up and dry off. Thanks for watching, everybody. Please like, share, comment, subscribe. And of course, check out Kajakkspesialisten down in the description below. Check out the paddles they make. Check out the kayaks they build. Really cool what they're doing. Thanks for watching, everybody. Safe paddling. All right, let's see how this looks. I'm going to talk about it. Jeez, what a mess I am.